Good, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whichever part of the world you are joining us from. Global Council from the Commission of International Trade welcomes you all for today's exciting session on responsible technologies and workforce. The Global Alliance for Responsible Technologies and Workforce, a dynamic consortium dedicated to reshaping the trajectory of technology and workforce in integration with a strong ethical compass and GARTW growth. We are on the collective journey to harmonize innovation with responsibility, fast fostering an ecosystem where cutting edge advancements are driven by ethical consideration. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I am Ananya Banerjee Chatterjee, the R&D and Communication Officer for TCPI team and a host for the evening. So let's start with this session, and I would like to call our first speaker, Mr. Abhilash Chakraborty, co-founder and director of Larkai Healthcare, with over 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, and new product launch at the global level in healthcare. Abhilash is a seasoned business, marketing, and people leader who is passionate about improving health outcomes and access for underserved population. Along with Preetham and his team in Larkai, are leading the vision, strategy, execution of innovative AI-enabled patent monitoring. Prior to Larkai Healthcare, Abhilash held senior marketing and commercial roles at leading global healthcare companies such as GE Healthcare, Philips, and 3M, where he successfully launched multiple new products, expanded into new markets, and managed cross-functional teams and partnerships. Welcome, Mr. Abhilash, and over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ananya. Just a sound check. Everybody can hear me? Thumbs up?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Ananya. Thank you so much, Santosh. And thank you so much, GCPIT, for giving me this platform. And this platform is really important for us because we want to express through this platform the impact which we are making. And the impact which we're making is actually categorized in the 3 Ps. And this is basically, first and foremost, is the purpose, the reason why we have started this business or this startup. Second is the fact that there is a profit element, because eventually we are responsible to our investors. And my startup now being VC invested, there's a high expectation of a return to the investor and to general stakeholders as well. And the third is, of course, the planet, which is the third P, which means that all the products which we do or which we've designed have got the least amount of burden, whether it's packaging, whether it is restriction of hazardous substances used, or technology advancement, respecting people's privacy, and so on. So looking at these 3 things in mind, I'll spend a few minutes about what we do, what the company is meant for, and finally, if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer those questions. But let me share my deck, and let me please indicate if it's visible to you clearly. Yep. Can participants see my deck? Perfect. Thank you so much. So lark is basically a songbird, which is a very good mimic of other birds. When we were thinking of a name for this company, we wanted to make sure that this is something which resonates with a large number of people. And my company being primarily in the health tech space, we wanted to make sure that we faithfully reproduce the sounds which the body makes, or the signals which the body makes. And this is captured using advanced algorithms and software, and processed and given in a very user-friendly manner to the layman. So Lark AI, therefore, is meant to interpret and signal health and well-being for the patient. And that's why we started this company with Preetham in the year 2020. The purpose which we serve is really large. We don't want to make sure, we don't want to be seen as just a company which makes money, but the fact that we make affordable healthcare accessible to everyone is really the first and the leading cause why we even established our company for. So pursuing our purpose indicates that no patient should die undiagnosed. I'll give you a case story of our favorite singer, KK. He was performing in a concert in Kolkata. He had a sudden chest pain, And he said, I'll take some rest. I'll go to the hotel and I will go to my room and I'll rest. He took Digene, thinking that this is really a hard burn, but actually it was the onset of a heart attack. So if a Lakai device, or for that matter, any patient monitoring device was at hand with him, it would have immediately given him this 1 hour golden hour in advance so that he could have been rushed to the hospital, or the treatment could have started at the point of care or at the point where the concert was happening. So today we lack this ability to make healthcare accessible to the last mile, to where it is really needed. You'll see the concentration of health technology is primarily in secondary and tertiary care hospitals in large cities. Very few large hospitals are available in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. There are none available in the large rural settings or in district or tehsil levels. You'll also notice that 725,000 general physicians in the country, Ayush practitioners, and so on, but there are just 3,500 practicing cardiologists in this country. In this country of 140 crores, if you have only 3,500 cardiologists, you can see the imbalance in the treatment. So KK was unfortunate that the people around him did not recognize or did not have a tool or technology or to revive him. But we have therefore tried to solve these four problems, or these major pain points which are present today in the health system. First and foremost is is a delayed diagnosis, as we mentioned. Second is the equipment which is used for testing, for example, ECG, or for that matter, any patient monitoring or diagnostic device is always localized in a large tertiary hospital like Apollo's, Fortis, Medantas, and so on. And these are expensive equipments. Most of them are imported, mostly made in Netherlands or in China, and very few of them could be is affordable for a general physician. Even though the first point of contact is really the general physician or your nearest doctor, who would be your neighborhood or who would be in your apartment complex or whom you know or as your family member, who's the first point of contact or first point in which he's called either through a WhatsApp, an SMS, or a call. There is no tool or technology available at his hand, at his palm, which can detect or predict a worsening condition of a health. So that's the second problem. Third is that, as we saw in the previous illustration, this diagnosis, in the absence of a very precise tool, is very subjective, which indicates the fact that the chance of misdiagnosis is much higher in the hands of an untrained professional or in the hands of any paramedical staff who is a first responder. Or for that matter, the large number of complicated issues get hidden because there's an overlying condition of obesity or blood pressure or so on and so forth. Therefore, getting to the root cause becomes more and more difficult. What we've also realized is, like, the reason why patients don't do proactive health checkups is the fact that the exorbitant cost involved. So if you were to walk to any hospital in Gurgaon, for that matter, say Medanta, or let's say Fortis, or you'll be charged anywhere between 350 to 500 rupees for a simple ECG test. And this ECG test is a gold standard test for any patient, wherein a diagnosis of a chest or a heart is being done. And because of the cumbersome process of registration, going to the ECG machine, or even doing a TMT, which is a stress test or basically a extended version of an ECG, you would have to spend your half a day, you would have to take time out, and then you would have to get the report back in a paper file format, show it to the cardiologist. Usually the cardiologist comes later in the day, will check your reports, will sign, and then it will get the report. You would come the very next day, and the next day you'll take your report, and then you'll go to our referring physician who'd actually refer to you. So you're a patient who has just come to the doctor and say, doctor, I feel heaviness in my chest, or I feel shortness of breath, and I feel some slight pain. What could this be? And the doctor has recommended you to please go ahead and do a ECG for a correct diagnosis. And here you are after 2 or 3 days, still wondering what to do with a file full. And then the doctor says, okay, no, it seems there are some issues, but then, okay, you can start with these medications, but keep a regular health checkup done. So what we've done is we've removed this time consuming process. We've removed the subjectivity, and we've introduced an AI enabled point of care device, which within 1 minute tells you the condition of the patient and tells you what to do next by a simple query format, which is the AI assistant on your mobile app. This is something which has been introduced for the first time in the country, and there is a strong push towards digitization. And we are trying to make sure that this device goes out to the masses, to the rural markets. So while we are backed by the Government of India's Ministry of Electronics and IT and Department of Science and Technology in the development phase of the product, deployment and commercial scale up is really where we have taken the venture capital money. And now we are looking to scale this product up from uh, currently about 300 customers whom we have, all doctors and physicians in their clinics, to at least 300,000 doctors and clinicians. Remember, there are about 700,000 practicing general physicians in the country who would use a stethoscope. That's the primary. You would also get their pulse rate by putting your hand on your wrist or putting the hand on their wrist. Then they would take your temperature. And then if they have the money and the time and the patient has the ability to pay, then we'll do SpO2 also. These are considered as the 5 vital signs of the patient. Uh, till today, you have to use 5 different devices and equipments and then write it down on a piece of paper. And then the doctor will look at the piece of paper and then start the diagnosis. All these tests usually were done with a paramedical staff or a nurse or an assistant, whoever may be. If not, then the doctor would do it on his own. What we've done for the first time is like fused all these things into one smart box called Ren, which we launched in the Singapore Business Show yesterday, and under the aegis of GCPIT. And this basically is a device which fuses all the 5 basic vital parameters. And then we use advanced algorithms for search for patterns and look at deviations, which indicate that there is an onset of disease. So, for example, if your BP is high or if your SpO2 is low, we catch that pattern and indicate that along with the ECG, this is basically showing a patient going into a serious medical condition. So this is the hardware or part of the device. There's a very strong digitization, and this is where the scalability comes in. Is the fact that we've removed the entire paper requirement in this process. The QR code which is generated on the screen of the device after each test. The QR code can be captured into a mobile app or can be transferred by a simple photo by the nurse using a WhatsApp to the doctor, and the doctor can download all the reports of that patient at that point of time using that QR code. So this also integrates with the Ayushman Bharat Health Access, which is the Government of India's flagship United Health Interface or UHI. You will remember that there is something called UPI, which came out in 2017 or earlier in 2015, but it actually caught up after the demonetization. So UHI is exactly the same as UPI, and all the digital repository or the digital records of the patient is stored in a QR code at that with a stamp, and for that particular moment, for that particular day. And then a collection of QR code tells you the progression of the disease or the progression of the health of the patient as far as 3-4 years till the time you can get the information on your health. What you have to do is just upload your ECG report, let's assume, into our app or on our website, and we will recognize the kind of condition you would be and convert it into a QR code, which can be kept into your digital health locker. So by this, we're trying to digitize indirectly the entire paper-based trail or paper-based diagnostic service in the country. And again, coming down to the fact that the planet is also something which we have a consideration. The amount of paper saved is directly proportional to the greenhouse effects or the fact that we save the environment or save trees. But it also is very economical. So when you charge a patient 100 rupees, you would also consume add the cost of consumables, which will add up to the printing paper, electricity, etc., and that would add up to a good admin cost of about 20 rupees. So by eliminating those fixed costs or requirement of paper, we are also eliminating the need for unnecessary expenditure on for the patient. You'd also see that once you have a test done, it is permanently recorded. You do not have to do a rerun or a retest. Many times we forget or cannot remember our medical reports which we've kept a year, 2 or 3 years back. This gives you an indication that a 3 year progression or a 3 year uh, report helps in identifying the progress of the disease. And therefore, the more data points which you can give us, it helps us in correlating with how good your health condition has been since the first year. It could be whether diabetes, which is progression of sugar, and number two, it could be your heart, it could be your stress or BP, and so on. So it's also very profitable for the hospital because earlier you would apart from using reams of paper, you'd also have to employ a paramedical staff, a radio technician, and so on. Here you have an opportunity of optimizing your expenses by immediately transferring the patient's health data through this QR code to the consulting cardiologist within a minute. And the consulting cardiologist gets very specific or region of interest marked uh, information which says this patient has come with this indication, highlighting the problem areas, allowing the cardiologist to reduce his own job or his own burden. Remember, they're all busy. They have to see 100 to 200 patients every day. Every patient has to go through this cycle, first do the BP, then do the SpO2, then do the ECG, and then come back with the reports. Here is a process in which we've optimized the pathway in which as soon as a patient comes, we do all the five together in 1 minute, and then the report comes to the cardiologist, and he can immediately start the diagnosis without having the patient to come back again with a set of paper later on. So we've made it very, very efficient for a doctor who could earlier see 100 to 200 patients in the same 8 hour shift. He can now see up to 300 patients and without compromising on the quality or on the face time which the doctor has in front of his patient. So just that the patient doesn't have to come again and again. You can therefore double your productivity with each and every day. You can see twice many patients because those are the number of patients whom you have already given information, and therefore you don't have to look at him once again or a confirmation. So this is what we are doing with the National Health Mission, with the National Digital Health Mission SaaS integration. This device also is the software part is device agnostic. So while we give this device as a foot in the door or as an introduction, and to make sure that the healthcare is affordable and accessible, we've also noticed that in the large rural settings, the tier 2 or tier 3 settings, unless people see something tangible, they are not willing to pay. So a doctor coming in front or a patient who's coming in front of a doctor, unless he sees that there is a modern device which has been used to test, is unlikely to pay for an app or unlikely to pay for a software unless he sees a physical device. So this is why we've deployed this in the general physicians or the rural medical practitioners clinic, so that the doctor can show that I have done your test right now in front of you, and this is the report. If you want, I can give you a paper, but it is not required. I can see it on the screen. I have on a PDF file, and I can send it to your WhatsApp. I can send it to your mobile, and you can keep it for posterity. But this is what your report indicates to me, and this is an area of concern for which you must go and see a cardiologist till the time I will start the medication for you. So here you are now giving the patient a greater chance of surviving. There is no sudden cardiac arrest or a sudden impact because everything is diagnosed and captured earlier. Treatment has started earlier. It's very efficient for the patient. He doesn't have to run around from one location to another with a bunch of reports. And number three, it's also so cost efficient because you would now for the doctor there is, apart from clinical value, there is also an economic value because he can charge additionally for this report, for this convenience to the patient, rather than what a diagnostic center was doing. So you would still have to do high level diagnostic tests which cannot be done in the doctor's table, but then you also eliminated 80% of the routine tests and regular testing which can be insourced into the doctor's clinic itself. So therefore adding economic value to him. The last thing is of course the social value. There's something with such a high technology comes into a village, to a rural town, etc. It attracts more patients and more people to that particular doctor, and he's construed or he's thought to be a leading doctor or somebody who is very progressive, or he's a leader and a progressive doctor in his area or in his town. So that's basically the value which we are generating to the patient. So again, took a long time to set up this algorithm. Many clinical trials, about 2 years of effort to get this thing done. But this is basically what the company has. I would encourage everyone to take a look at the HeartMate device. Before closing, I'll take a comparison of what we have with some of the other devices. Again, most of the devices are uh, not transmitter devices. Therefore, they cannot transmit the data or the patient report to either a mobile or an app or a hospital command center or any electronic health record. This is the first differentiation which we bring. Therein, we've introduced digitization. We've brought in the power of information technology to make sure that the data analysis interpretation happens instantaneously. Using algorithms, it detects patterns and tells the patient this is a high risk patient and suggests what are the things to be done. This can be queried on our app, which is compatible with each particular device and enables the doctor or the caregiver or the nurse to start the treatment straight away. Also, on the other hand, if you are a doctor in charge of a 30-bedded ICU, you can simultaneously continuously monitor the patient's health without break, without having to get up from your desk. You can watch it on a large giant screen where all 30 patients are beaming their information vital signs immediately. So there's no gap between monitoring in that kind of a scenario. This is basically customer validation which we've done again. So as we were mentioning, we were recognized by Government of India, Ministry of Electronics and IT. We also got a recognition from the Department of Business of Trade, Government of UK, which saw that there is a lot of value in saving time for their NHS patients. So there is a system in UK in which where you first go to a general physician. The general physician will then recommend you to a cardiologist or a super specialist. And usually the waiting time is anywhere between 8 weeks to 13 weeks. What we're planning to do is put this device on the general physician's table itself in UK so that thus 8 to 13 week waiting time is eliminated completely, enabling therefore quick and fast responsive treatment for the patient coming in. That is something which is in progress or in trial. But in India, we've already deployed this, and we're getting a very good response from both our customers, our stakeholders, and from our investors. So this is basically what Lark AI is doing by marrying our planet's goals of sustainable living, making it very profitable for hospital owners and doctors, and also at the same time serving larger purpose of saving lives, bringing convenience, and effectively leveraging the power of technology and AI to help save lives. So this is, in summation, our company's effort in sustainable technologies. Over to you, Ananya, and I'll be happy to answer any questions which you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. Thank you for sharing such important and useful information with us. Thank you. So, our next speaker will be Mr. Gaurav Patra, co-founder and CTO of IntelliTech AI, an organization helping businesses meet their artificial intelligence ambitions with readiness. He was the chief project architect of smart metering and payment processing for RPSG Power Utility. He started his entrepreneurial journey with the vision to make AI accessible, affordable, and measurable. He is being recognized as Mozilla India Global Ambassador. Mr. Gaurav is an active speaker in global tech and business events such as Mozilla Summit, Com42, Google Developer Group, and NASCOM, etc. He has been one of the core contributors to the Rust programming language. He has been a mentor with Government of Delhi Startup Accelerator. Welcome, Mr. Patra, and over to you.
Thanks, Anana. Thanks for the introduction, generous introduction. And thanks GCPIT for giving the opportunity to present in this conference. And all my fellow speaker, I realize there's a great presentation and nice thing that you're doing in the sustainability space. So I'll quickly share my screen and just checking whether everyone is able to see my screen. Just a quick thumbs up. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll talk less about the company. I'll go towards that at the later end. So what I really appreciate is the right time for JCPIT to organize this kind of a conference. There are a lot of work being done globally on how we can actually build technology or build solutions on top of technology with certain amount of respect towards the societal and environmental well-beings. So this is actually a very right time for this conference. And also what I believe, the future workforce will be shaped in a way to utilize technology and build on top of technologies in a responsible manner. And that as a startup, we feel like that has to be inculcated at the design level of the startup, how the organization has been designed. Like Avilash was mentioning, the goal or the vision of the organization, apart from making money, definitely everyone has to make money, uh, is something to do good for the organization, and that's how making profit out of it, right? Uh, so quick facts, this presentation will be tentatively of a 30-minute slot, and there are a lot of things happening worldwide in this 30 minutes. So by the time the presentation will be over, the tech has intercepted our daily life in such a way, worldwide there will be 600 million WhatsApp messages being sent in this next 30 minutes. There will be little more than 230 million YouTube videos will be watched, and there will be almost 10,000 flights which will take off globally across the world. These are all like advances of technologies. Now, there are a lot of pitfalls happening due to technology, or I would say due to misuse of technology. Some happening due to unawareness as well. So let's list down the problems. So in this next 30 minutes, there will be almost 2 lakhs cyber attacks happening. And some will be known, some will not be known, because what happens, the difference between a data theft and a normal theft is that you will, as an organization, you'll not know that the data has been theft or not. You'll get to know after a lot of time passes by and all. Definitely there are a lot of environmental impacts. In next 30 minutes, almost 2.5 million tons of carbon dioxide will be emitted across the world, and unfortunately there will be almost 3,000 tons of food will be wasted. These are all edible food. So I'll throw a lot of numbers in this slide because I'm a numbers person. What I believe, the numbers can be interpreted by different people in a different way to make different informed decisions. So it will be a very number heavy slide. So what I fundamentally believe, technology is like a child. So I have a 2-year-old baby boy. Now, when when he's crying for getting a toy or something, if I like scold him that stop crying, he will not. I may force, I may insist. He might like stop crying, but he will form opinions, he'll form behaviors within him to actually build a personality like that, right? The better way to address that, how I generally prefer, is by providing a kind of a justification. How we treat an adult, I try I prefer to treat my child like that only, to try to convince him why he should not try, he should not cry for a toy, right? I believe technology is something like that. It's not like what you want the technology to do. It will be how you guide it to do, right? It has a lot of data at the background, what kind of data you are feeding to guide those technology, how you are using the technology, how you are educating your workforce to actually use or build on top of the technology. That change the entire ball game, how the technology will actually start learning and behaving for the societal good. Now, in this era, there are a lot of technological advances, a lot of data, though only like 1.5% of the entire data available globally is being used for any kind of informed decision making. The bigger question is how to be a human. Uh, a lot of changes happening, how the knowledge work is being done, a lot of advancement in the AI space, lot of future projections. Someone is saying like it will completely remove the software developers. Someone is saying AI will completely like change the accountant as a job. Uh, but what I believe, as a human, we need to ask ourselves like how to be a human and inculcate those human first principles like creativity, like societal good, like uh, the betterment of overall environment, everything putting together. There are a lot of big theses of how technology is differentiated than a human. But as human, I think we should also ask a lot of questions about uh, maintaining our individuality as humans, and that also impacts the personality that we build in the society. um, so most of us have been using ChatGPT. Before ChatGPT, there has been a lot of bits and pieces innovation being done in the AI space. But what ChatGPT has done drastically different is that it has bridged the research community of AI to a regular user of artificial intelligence who might not know any detailed, any depth about artificial intelligence, but they are becoming the users of that. It's similar to the revolution that happened when someone actually commercialized a jet flight, or someone has commercialized an internet, right? So we are going within a lot of changes throughout the world, both in the technology point of view and both in the geopolitical side of things. And what I feel that will be somewhere related, because technology is becoming so much powerful, it will definitely shape how the power dynamics of the world is happening, is working. So I'll quickly cover three segments. One, like what is happening right now, maybe over last 5 years, and how that is perceived as societal impact overall. Secondly, the importance of startups like us in the landscape, how we can define those, uh, how responsible technologies are being utilized, and a collaborative ecosystem, both between the policymakers and the startups, between the larger corporates and the startups, and definitely between technology and human. So the bigger question here is, how do we see ourselves in the future? And I believe uh, how we answer this question very well determines how we actually be shaping our future. All of you know about Cambridge Analytica. That was one of the key examples how data uh, was utilized to shape political dynamics in one of the uh, uh, strongest country in the world, right? And this is just something which came into the picture because of its scale, because of its intensity. But data privacy issue has been happening throughout over last 20 years, from where data has been started being centralized. Algorithmic bias. So this is a study by NIST, National Institute for Science and Technology. Uh, so the facial recognition algorithms over there in the world, including military grade facial recognition algorithm, the main data set that is being used to train that facial recognition algorithms is itself having an algorithmic bias. though this data is of 2020. After that, there has been some changes for good, definitely. But the crucial point here is 77% of that data set contains male images, male faces, and almost 90% of a specific ethnicity. Going back to my first slide, like technology is like a child, how you guide them, how you guide it to learn, it will learn accordingly. So by default, almost 95% of the facial recognition algorithms, be it open source or be it proprietary in the world, has certain amount of bias by design in it. Uh, Second thing is the third thing is user well-being. There has been a lot of studies on that, uh, but again, I'm throwing up some numbers, some data. Of our waking time, almost 1/3 of our time is utilized for smartphone, on smartphone. It might be for good, someone like we're using that for work, for doing business and all, but it has to have effect everywhere, either positively, negatively, or both, how we balance that out. Some negative impact that everyone is seeing already is sleep deprivation, anxiety, depression, and a lot of other things. uh, Another very crucial point, which has been again backed by data. So over last 20 years, the power of computing is increasing by law around twice every 2 years, right? So when the power of computing is increasing, definitely the previous devices, the previous infrastructures are very rapidly getting out of use, and that is accounting for a lot of e-waste. Very recently, we have seen a very innovative work being done by a lot of startups supported by the policymakers to reutilize those things. But still, the prediction says it will keep on growing. The e-waste part globally will keep on growing at an exponential pace. Another important thing to consider when we talk about responsibility or responsible tech building is that uh, like the half-life of the skills are being reducing drastically. That means the jobs that exist today, or the pay parity that exists today for different kind of jobs, due to adoption of technology, regulated by a lot of policies, it will go through a drastic change. There are multiple predictions for that. So this study was done by OpenAI, which is the parent company of ChatGPT, and it gives a tentative exposure percentage of different jobs which are existing currently in the market, and the number says it almost affects all the like key jobs which are currently existing by an extent of 100%. That's another study by McKinsey. Almost 300 million jobs will be affected worldwide. That does not mean that those jobs will be eliminated or something like that, but that those jobs will be maybe going towards a better direction. But that has to be affected, and if it will be affected as the workforce and as the employers of the workforce, we have to take those actions to like adapt to those changes. What I believe that Indian ecosystem is fundamentally at a very unique, strategically at a very unique place in shaping that responsible future through technology. Not may not be directly, but indirectly as well. Why is it so? Because as startups, we are very agile. I can give our example. We are a 50-member team, having almost 10 plus partner organizations as well. Still, any changes in regulations takes us a couple of days to actually implement that into production, and that gives our client partners willingness to actually abide by those regulations rather than finding loopholes and violating those things. So I think as startups ecosystem gets increased, uh, we have a very crucial role to play as maintaining an ethical and responsible workforce, both within as well as the clients and the partners that we work with. Secondly, ethics by design. Startups are very like it can be molded very well. So if the fundamental vision of any startup is built around design, built around ethics, not just growth at any cost, I think we can shape the workforce in such a way that it will actually do a good amount of social justice. Definitely user-centric approach. So the good thing is that users are actually becoming very, very aware. And as startups, we have to be very much user-centric. That also means that if the users are very much aware of the responsible technologies, we should be abiding by and the following those responsible technologies, right? For example, 20 years back, Google might not have think of any kind of data privacy policies, right? Now, individuals are so much aware that those big techs are actually needing their changing their policies in such a way that they abide by those data privacy policies for the user awareness, to cater to the user awareness. And definitely the iterative learning, whatever mistakes we do, we can actually iterate very quickly and try that. Even if we are not abiding by any responsible principles, we learn from those mistakes and then iterate on that. uh, One example of responsible technologies, I think all of you have heard of. It's a company called Ulu. They are into like EV scooters, small EV scooters, very popular here in Bangalore, in Mumbai and all. So it's not only just like reducing the pollution, it is also reducing the congestion on the road. Uh, the current penetration here in Bangalore is almost 35%, and that is uh, like quite well earning middle class population who are using that. Uh, the next is the collaborative ecosystem. I believe like the tech giants has to work hand in hand with the startups, and that's where our company Intellect AI pitches in. We we work very closely with the strategy team of big enterprises, not only in their digital transformation journey, rather how they can actually include AI and technology in a very, very responsible way, which not only talks about the societal good, it has to be aligned with their growth plan as well. So that's where our company Intellect AI fits in. We also believe that regulators will be guardians. So the regulations and the policies should not hamper the growth of the country or the organizations. Uh, it has to be some thing which is in an observatory manner. Currently, it is not. Currently, it is in India at least. The regulations is quite, at least as per my experience, it is quite reactive in nature. Whenever a certain scandal happens or wherever a crypto cycle bust, then a lot of policies around that comes into the picture, but that will actually hamper growth of good people, growth of good organizations. So policymakers are working towards that, but we're still not there. So as startups, we should do a lot of policy advocacy. I believe currently India is at a position right now to listen to the startup ecosystem, and they are already in starting from the Niti Aayog and all. Uh, a lot of startup members are helping them out to shaping the regulation policies. Secondly, definitely the industry academia collaboration. It has been happening for quite some time, but ChatGPT has given us a drastic example how a research project can brought into the masses. May not be at 100% accurate way, but it will actually accelerate the entire economy and the entire adoption of the technology. And definitely the shared platform and advocacy platforms like GCPIT, who is helping both the parties, bigger companies, policymakers, and the startups to actually align towards that goal. Now, fostering a responsible technology workforce, there are multiple initiatives being done, educational initiatives, uh, incorporating a diversified culture in the organization. It may be a like 5-member team or a 10-member team. If the policies internally in a startup is by nature ethical, by nature diversified, as we grow as startups, it will continue to be that only. So I fundamentally believe that as startups also we should focus little bit of amount into the culture building, uh, and the culture has to be around employing an ethical workforce, ethical talent pool, not just people who are very good at technology or people who are very good at a specific skill set. And secondly, definitely continuous mentorship is something that needs to be happening. The future of knowledge work will be nothing but a human AI collaboration. That there is no doubt about that. And when we come out of the hype cycle of AI, what I believe, in order to actually sustain, it has to be a handshake between the growth, between the societal impact side of things, and ultimately the customer first or the user first approach. So bringing these three things together and aligning the budgets for the bigger organizations in the right direction to create a trade-off between these three things. That's what we do at Intellect AI, both through a proprietary platform or a set of tools, as well as ecosystem or almost 25 plus startups and partners like Nvidia, Intel that we're doing right now. One fun fact, I'm not sure whether you guys are aware of that. So there is actually a tool called Chaos GPT. It's an open source tool and people are contributing to that, and it is constantly working towards how technology can destroy the world, right? uh, I'm not sure why it was created by some mad people, but yeah, it is. Now, different people might have different idea about responsible technology. Uh, it can be only for the societal good. It can be technology being utilized in such a way which is not non-responsible, right? So there are multiple perceptions. uh, I At Intellect AI we try to like reduce it or summarize it into 5 different areas which we believe that consist of creating a responsible technology and workforce. So this is a survey that we run publicly. Uh, you are absolutely welcome to take a screenshot and participate in the survey later on. What do you think that consists of, which is the most important thing in shaping a responsible technology workforce? Having said that, I'll leave you guys with a quotation by someone who I admire very much as an advocate to ethical technology. That's it. I'm done with this. Thanks everyone for joining the session, listening to me, and I'll be happy to take up any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan, for sharing such useful information with us. Next, we have Mr. Yash Sarwadi, founder and CEO of Solins Energy Private Limited. His passion lies in finding smart solutions, especially in the world of clean tech, using innovative technology to nurture our planet. He is skilled in finance, operations, and management, a versatile expert who can handle money matters, streamline operations, and lead team effectively. He is the mastermind behind the Solvent's energy and idea that's changing the way. Imagine a special hub where people come together to harness sunlight for power. Yash and his team are toiling relentlessly to ensure solar power becomes accessible and affordable for all India. Welcome, Mr. Yash, and over to you.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction, and thank you so much for having me here. And it is very much important for being us here to to inform about the whatever innovation which you are doing into the field, and like what are the things that the people can need to know that it is changing into the industry. So can I share my screen?
Okay.
Yeah. So I just give a brief introduction about myself and what I do in Solance Energy, and then after I go into the topic where we need to speak about the technology and responsibility of it. So basically, Solance Energy is a solar bidding platform and marketplace. So Solance Energy is a company that working on the sustainable development goals given by the United Nations, and uh, this is a company that working to bring a sustainable change into the lifestyle of the lifestyle of the Indian people. So that what we do in a day to day. So currently, talking about the technological landscape in India and growth and development in India. So if you have seen that most of the collaboration which happens within the last year have drastically changed the landscape of the Indian ecosystem. So altogether, if I see the overall value addition by the industrial sector is 3.5%. If you see the numbers last year, whatever the technology which we are using in last year and whatever technology which we are using this year, the change in the technology is measured by this number index, and it is 3.7%. And you can see here the all the sector across the basically technology have been shifted. So you can see here the electricity is a major sector where the technological drift has been feel by the people. You have seen the many NTPC and thermal power plant company, which is the PSUs of the company, are going green and going solar. So they are floating tender of the solar power plant, not doing expansion of their current existing capacity. So basically, this is a major change has been done in the energy sector, and solar is one of the key changes that have been faced by into the energy sector, and how it is affecting the environment. Energy consumption is while the technologies can improve the energy consumption, but the overall energy consumption for the electricity has been rising rapidly. Reason being we are using now EVs, and whatever energy consumption which we are having in the past last 5 years, if you compare any normal household consumption also. So you can see here the 50% raise has been felt in the energy consumption by the each household, because nowadays the phone you are using is coming with a larger battery capacity. The television sets you are using, whatever things you are using as consuming a good amount of electricity, which previously don't consuming that much electricity. So that is one of the change that people are feeling in their lifestyle, and because of the EV sector boom and EV the commitment that India have been doing into the EV sector, that is a phenomenal, and that need a change into the energy sector. So talking about that, I just want to add existing infrastructure for the electricity is not equipped for the EV system. We are not ready for the EV infrastructure yet, but through the hybrid ecosystems and development in the solar technologies, we are able to generate the electricity demand that which will be going further, which will be felt in the upcoming years because of the lot of boom into the EV sector and lithium ion battery. So technology expansion can be lead to habitat loss and biodiversity decline and disruption in the ecosystem due to the urban squirrel and the land conversion. So basically, any coin have a two sides. When we are growing the technological or the technological expansion is happening, the ecological cost is yet to be recovered from the country. So we need to use land, and we need to make it commercially viable things, so that commercially viable things are coming at the cost of the ecological and biodiversity, it affecting the biodiversity of that particular region. Okay, so what are the how we can take this technology development towards the sustainable through the green tech. So we cannot, it is inevitable to stop the growth. If it is a very much wrong when we say we don't have to grow because we are not growing sustainably, because the growth is kind of a thing that we cannot stop. So if we can make it a clean growth or something, then it will be a great journey to the India, and great journey to the whole ecosystem and worldwide. So renewable energy integration into the each industry is the key thing that can give the sustainable growth, because the majority of energy is coming from the electricity, and because of the coal prices are high, electricity is very much viable. Electrical kind of a power and energy is very much viable. So basically, if we see the the cost of the levelized cost of electricity for solar and coal, so solar levelized cost of electricity is dropping drastically. So wind, solar, this kind of a renewable energy resources are making more viable when we say if we integrate these solutions to the factories, to the R&D departments and all the stuff where the majority of electric consumption can be is been done, so it will be giving us path to sustainable growth. So talking about the energy efficiency, energy efficiency is the kind of a thing that we need to improve. We are using the electricity everywhere, and everywhere we need to use the 5-star rating equipment or something. If there is equipment is having any problem with the power factor or something, any kind of a voltage current regarding problem, it need maintenance or something, that need to be done on a proper time way. So if we can increase the energy efficiency, that can be increase our lifetime of the product, as well as the decrease the cost of electricity. Smart grid and energy management is one of the key thing to go for the sustainable growth, because grid, many times we feel that rural segment is not covered with the grid, and smart grid solution give them give the sector ability to use the power in an optimum way. In an optimum way, in the sense of if in a smart grid infrastructure, the wherever the need is, the power will be to go through that infrastructure only, and it will reduce the amount of the losses through the grid. Sustainable transport is one of the things which we need to focus on. We are ordering from Zomato and Swiggy on the daily basis, and many kind of delivery partners and channels have been used for the transport and other stuff. So if we can use the EV infrastructure in that, integrate the sustainable kind of a things that which can do, government also changing their infrastructure by health. So that is going to be one of the things that positive environment changes can be bring by the doing the sustainable transport. So green buildings can be practiced. Green Building Council of India is a mandatory. This is kind of a mandatory in the RERA as well. So if we use that green building solution, so it will be a very much larger impact to the community and people who visit that building also. It can be a good carbon footprint also. Nature-based solution, in the sense of there are many solutions which is coming with the natural things. Natural thing in the sense of light wind, geological effect and all this stuff. So tidal forces and all this stuff. So these are the natural kind of energy resources which we need to cultivate, and which need to harvest for the energy consumption. So that is one of the things which we can do for our kind of a thing. Waste management is one of the thing which we can do, effective waste management, because with the upgrade technology, there are many e-waste which we are generated. We are not using the phone window which not having the 5G. So we are we are just discarding the 4 with the which is having the 4G and all this stuff, 3G and all this stuff. So we need to find a way to make that waste sustainable kind of a thing. We can reuse this for the solar panel. We can make a solar panel out of it, or any kind of a stuff where that e-waste is generating some revenue and not harming the environment. It is kind of a end-to-end recycling or gate-to-gate kind of a recycling can be happened. So that is one of the things that we can we can go through and we can incorporate. So what are the metrics that switch that workforce or technology towards the green tech? So basically these are the some of the benefit that which we are getting, where if we go and integrate the renewable resources into the our day-to-day organization, like environmental benefits, sustainable development, economical advantage, energy security, international relationships, leaderships, and community benefit, risk reduction, long-term saving. So basically everything is coming with the cost. So this is the resources that having the huge life, 20 to 15, 25 years of life, and they are giving a good amount of return, which even market can't give. Like the solar panels are giving 20% plus return on investment on so there's a huge amount of return that can be generated by the solar panel, or and it is a long term return that can be generated in the international community. India has a international solar alliance where we are leading the world solar association, where we are making ourselves and many people in the world to accessible to solar. So solar energy is becoming more and more accessible, and it is an environmental and clean and green energy, so it can be adopted. And energy security can be solved by this, because one grid, one nation is one of the thing that government is working on, and that can be a huge impact to the community. So how we communicate workforce regarding the responsible technology. So basically workforce, every organization have a different kind of workforce, and that need to be communicated in a way that they can use the technology in a day-to-day basis, and it is a sustainable. So global event campaigns, employee management training and skill development, policy advocacy, sustainable business practice, green innovation, collaboration, partnership, and communication strategy. So these are the kind of a thing where we can cultivate the basically integrate the energy and make the people aware about the all the sustainable practices which they can incorporate into their day-to-day life, and they can make provoke this kind of a thing, and spread this kind of a thing across the globe. So these are the things that having. So Solans have made a one-stop solution of for application. I'm talking about my company over a little here. So basically, it's one-stop solution where we have a solar tendering platform. So anybody, if any industry want to have want to have solar installed on their rooftop, they just need to come to our platform, float as an inquiry. We will now bid for them. If you want a Tata solar panels, then there is a multiple Tata solar distributors are near you. So basically, they will bid for you, and because of the reverse auction, 10 to 15% cost get reduced, so we can able to give the best solution at the base price, and all the services are being assured by the solans. So these are it. We want to make solar accessible for all.
Thank you, Mr. Yash, for the information. And now we will start with our Q&A, and we'll start with Mr. Yash Dawadi. So my first question to Mr. Yash: can you share example of how Solent's energy solutions have positively impacted the environment and communities while aligning with the broader goals of responsible technology adoption?
Yeah. So basically, we till now have installed 3 megawatt plus solar rooftops on the different factories. So these factories are saving 3 crore electricity bill per month. So this is kind of a huge impact is been done through our platform, and we have installed the rooftop solar solutions, which is giving them reduction in the electricity, as well as this is reducing the emission of the carbon dioxide, because anyway they are consuming electricity. So if it is not from solar, then it will from the coal power plant. In a coal power plant, we know that coal need to be ignited to the some tech through steam making. So this kind of growth that change we've been able to make, they are using solar as a primary source of energy to their industry, and saving a lot of things, and they will save a lot through the 25 years.
Okay, next question is, collaboration and partnership are instrumental in scaling responsible energy solutions. Would you elaborate on any strategic collaboration that Solent's Energy has has pursued or plans to explore to achieve greater impact?
Yeah, so recently, we have a strategic investor in a company which is a Navitas Solar. Navitas Solar is one of the largest manufacturer of the solar panels in India. So they are also coming up a factory in USA, and we also have a association with a many business partner like local business associates in the different city where they are making a they are leading the light of the change in their vicinity and their city. So these are the kind of a collaboration which we have done till now, and we are also like open for the collaboration in the many kind of a way, with the mobility partners, with the different companies like Blue Coat, Pidilite, and all the stuff. These are the companies that we've been working on. One of major textile and diamond manufacturer, we have been partnered with them to make their sustainable things. We've been partnered with the many builders to make their building green building, and give them good like carbon credits and all this stuff. So these are some of the partnerships we have done, and we also have a partnership with the many banks and NBFCs to fund these solar systems at the lowest interest rate and 100% unsecured loans. So this been our partnership till now, but like we feel that collaboration is a key. One man alone cannot change the world. We all need to do some kind of a part. If we have a ignited a yagna, we all need to give the ahoti. So this kind of a thing that which we felt, and the collaboration is key to success.
Okay. The next question will be, building responsible energy solutions can be challenging due to various factors. How does Solon's Energy navigate these challenges to ensure its solutions are ethical, efficient, and environment friendly?
Correct. So this is a major challenge, policy challenge, and many manufacturer quality assurance challenges being faced in this market, because this market is very much new. Customer cannot know what kind of quality they are getting because they are not into the field. Correct. So we have make SOPs for each kind of a steps where all the stuff is been checked by the thoroughly by our executives, through the technology, and through all the certifications are need to be there, on the safety standard as well as the quality standard, where every step is been Solans is assuring the quality on the every step. So once the material is loaded into the truck, we do the pre-inspection. After it reach to the client space, we do the post-inspection, and after the completion of the plant, we do the entire total inspection of the solar power plant. So this kind of layers of the assure inspection has been put it through our procedures, where we can after that we can see that we can say that we are giving them best quality products, and assured that also with the data. So this is a kind of a layer of the safeties and layers of the procedures we have been following throughout the installation stuff, so we can assure them the good quality product and the good kind of installation and services.
Okay. Next question is, as the CEO, what trends and innovations do you anticipate in the realm of responsible and sustainable energy solutions, and how does Solence Energy position itself to lead in these developments?
So, first of all, solar market is very much big. So, not a single player is can over the 50%, more than 50% market share. So, basically, what we are trying to figure out is we are portraying ourselves as a marketplace and building platform where we are panel agnostic, and we deal with the quality of panel manufacturer, where we can give the plenty of option to the consumer, and through the bidding platform we can assure that they are getting the best price and best quality products. So that's what we are portraying ourselves and positioning ourselves as, and hopefully we will be scaling through many cities in India to make this platform accessible for all.
Thank you. Next question is, what does the future hold for Solence Energy as it continues to campaign responsible energy solutions and contribute to a more sustainable world?
So what we want is like, we want to make solar energy accessible for all. So now what happening is like, if anybody want to go solar, it is a very much tough job to find a right guy or right service or right product for them. So like, we just want to make a application where like they can find the best products, best services, and best kind of a rates, so they can easily go solar, and like they can know about the incentive that which they are getting from solar. So basically, the adaptation of the solar that we need to increase from our platform, and we want to like, achieve the 280 gigawatt goal that government has set the target, and we want to contribute like, 50% more than that in this goal. So
Thank you. And my last question would be, could you provide insights into any upcoming projects or initiatives from Solence Energy that our audience can look forward to?
yeah, so we are like, going global, that with the like, we have participate in an expo, international expo over the Dubai, and like, we are also like, establishing our office in USA within this year. So this is kind of things that we are looking forward to. So we are looking forward to the having the like the local partners. So as I said, like, collaboration is a key to success. So any audience want to like, contribute into the like renewable energy sector by and make some money out of this. So basically, definitely we are the kind of a guys that we want to collaborate with, and we will definitely give them a like, every bit of information and possible things that like that it will be much very much easy to like, adapt to, and like, make people go solar. So that's what we are looking forward to, and like, we are like, a company that like, having the vision to make sustainable lifestyle and sustainable living across the world.
Thank you, Mr. Yash, for answering all questions.
Thank you so much.
And now we request Mr. Vilas Chakraborty to answer a few questions. And my
Sure.
first
Thank you so
question,
much, Tanya. Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah, my first question would be, what challenges have you encountered on your journey of building responsible technologies in the healthcare sector, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah. So I think great question. And first of all, I think in my sector, which is health tech, it's a very defensive sector, or it's highly regulated sector, and therefore any advancement of technology which comes in has to clear multiple hoops of regulators. So these are the drug controls authority as well as quality regulators, which, because at the end of the day we're dealing with the patient who's connected to a device. So the challenges has always been that we don't have a harmonized medical device regulation. Our medical device regulation is the same as what applies for cosmetics and for drugs. So you would notice that for medical devices, there is a forum. Niti Aayog has started making a separate chapter and separate regulatory authority. But the biggest challenge which we faced is like, how do we come and explain to a drug controller who knows chemistry so well but has no clue how his electronic device works? So how do we convince him that this is a device which is not a drug, but we still are classified under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act? So that was a big challenge. So of course, the way we've done it is like we've done extensive clinical trials, side by side studies with approved products as predicates, and then indicated how the results correlate very closely with approved products in a real life scenario. And we had to do very extensive challenging trials over 22 months, more than 35,000 patients, multi-center studies, clinical studies, and so on, to prove that the efficacy and safety of the device. So this is the number one challenge which we face and overcome.
Thank you, Mr. Vilas, for answering that. My next question would be, as a co-founder and director, how do you envision the future of Larkai Healthcare within the landscape of responsible technologies and workforce development?
Yeah. So there are three things which we spoke about. One is making we a pro planet, because we make devices which do not use any hazardous materials. They have a small footprint, and we use technology in an extent which eliminates waste, which eliminates paper, eliminates cutting of trees. So therefore, sustainability is therefore inbuilt by design into the product. I'd also point out that the economic value and the convenience value which we bring, it makes this very affordable So now you can take this and make healthcare accessible and affordable to many more people who could not afford to. So that's the social impact part. And the first and the most important part is how do we treat your data? It is completely secure. It is in the country and is only accessible to your doctor and to the patient, and that too after verifications, and therefore that is very closely guarded. So by being responsible with your data, by being responsible with the way we design our product and the way we responsibly sell the product and we market it, we are communicating our values through our products and service.
Next question is: responsible workforce development is an integral part of the Global Alliance vision. How does Larkai Healthcare approach talent development and empower its workforce to align with these values?
Yeah, I mean, so again, a great question is something which is very close to us. The talent which we have is look are less than 35 years. So when you look at the age of the company, 80% of the company is less than 30 or 35 years. And the kind of people which we get are millenniums, and therefore they are looking at a highly challenging environment, which means that we give them an environment which is conducive for their productivity. This is primarily a remote or a hybrid location. So we are okay with anybody working with a remote location or in hybrid location as long as we get the desired results. So therefore, connectivity, being connected to our people is very important. You'll also notice that we have a high diversity. We have a large number of women in our senior leaderships and in engineering field. Generally, women in STEM are in general population lower, but in our company, it is almost a 50% between our male and female counterparts. So by uh, actively promoting inclusivity, by promoting more women in STEM and engineering to come in the company, giving them higher and challenging roles, a safe and a convenient workplace. That's how we are demonstrating that we are a responsible workforce.
Thank you. And the next question is: collaboration and partnership play a significant role in advancing responsible tech solutions. Could you discuss any strategic collaboration that Larkai Healthcare has pursued or plans to explore?
Yeah. So we have Lakai was born out of collaboration of from Kit TBI, where Preetham started this company, and therefore when he received the first grant from the government, DST Nidhi, the prototype came into the market. We are very happy to be a part of Startup Odisha, Startup India, and being encouraged quite early by the government of India's Department of Business, Department of BIRAC, and by Ministry of Electronics IT, two separate ministries. We have had a strong handholding till now because of Startup India. We've now partnered with customers like Fortis and Medanta to come into the uh, larger role where it becomes ubiquitous and people can see Lakai in their real life. We've also partnered with government of UK to introduce AI in NHS in UK, and so these are strategic collaborations and partnerships which we're doing. Health in India is a state subject, so we have to involve the state governments. We were very happy to have governments of West Bengal and government of Odisha as our initial funders. So they were not just encouraging us; they also funded the development of the company and the technology. So therefore, where we started as a government funded technology platform, we've commercialized rapidly, and now we've taken VC money, which is why we've scaled up very fast. So we have partnerships on all the spectrum, from the government side, from medical colleges and institutions, business incubators, as well as with customers and users. So this product has actually been designed with in partnership or in collaboration with all our stakeholders.
Thank you for answering this question. My next question is: how do you see Larkai Healthcare's role in driving positive change within the healthcare industry while also contributing to a sustainable and responsible future?
Yeah. So when we look out into the large rural medical space, we are making healthcare very affordable and accessible, but we are also adding economic value to the doctor. when a doctor is able to charge extra for a patient because of a service or technology which he could not, it brings economic value to the clinic and economic value to the uh, location. So apart from the economic value, there's a prestige value which comes when you use a AI enabled or a modern adhunik device, which also is trendy and looks and gives accurate results immediately. So there is a prestige value which we add to the doctor and to the small hospital clinics. And then of course there's a eventually there's a patient connected to everything. We are in the life health business in which the patient feels the difference. Difference is often between life and death, between convenience and inconvenience, and between livelihood and not being able to work. So making sure that the patient journey is as short as possible from detection to recovery, and then also making sure that he does not unnecessarily have to undergo the burden of repeated tests or run around with paper reports and so on. So therefore, we've added clinical significance to the patients also. So there's clinical value, there's economic value, as well as social benefits, which we provide through Lakai.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty. And my last question will be, could you provide insights into any upcoming initiatives, projects, or innovations that the audience can look forward to from Larkai Healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, look forward to AI being more prevalent now in medicine. So while other companies are also working on it, the focus of Lakai has been on patient monitoring and cardiac care. So our ability to detect and predict uh, onset of a heart disease is getting better and better every day, primarily because of algorithms and our live use cases which we are getting from our devices helps us in refining our moment of truth. So therefore, look forward to a very strong predictive early warning system which we are developing, and this will something which would bring a perceptible change in the way people look at doctors or the people feel in when they are in a healthcare establishment in a hospital. There is a currently negative perception of going to a hospital. We believe that a lot of this can be removed by deploying technology conveniently at the point of care.
Thank you, Mr. Chakraborty, for answering all the questions. And thank you. Now I would request Mr. Patra to
Thank you so
answer
much.
two
Yeah.
questions. Thank you.
Sure.
My first question is, the theme of the event is responsible technology and workforce. How does intelligent AI contribute to a responsible and sustainable future, not just in technology, but also in fostering a responsible workforce?
Very good question. So, fundamentally, what I believe, a responsibility or having a responsible choice, uh, people are very much aligned to that already. It's only about the other factors to it, which sometimes force them not to take a responsible route. For example, when we have to choose between organic food and junk food, uh, even if we are aligned towards that responsible decision, sometimes the cost, availability, or the taste does not allow us to take that decision. So same is true for the technology field as well. We work with a lot of enterprise clients, so where growth, uh, security of data, as well as like how they are how the cost factor happens overall, that shapes their decision towards whether to take a responsible way or have a finding a loophole and take that decision. So we always focus through our set of tool set to implement AI very rapidly, iteratively, at a low cost for the enterprises, and that forces our culture of workflows, also our client base, to take responsible decision. I think that's the center of it.
Thank you for answering this question. My next question will be, what challenges have you encountered while building responsible AI solutions, and how has intelligent AI addressed these challenges to deliver ethical and sustainable outcomes?
Sure. The major challenge that we have faced in Intellect AI is the quality of data, the variability of data. In order to ensure the AI algorithm itself is non-biased and responsible, it has a lot of dependency on the data that we are getting from our customers. We do work with a lot of cleaning, try to advocate for providing the right set of data sets which is non-biased, and sometimes try not to take that assignment up at all to implement. So yeah, I think primarily the data is major challenge towards implementing something which is responsible in nature, as well as aligned towards the organization's growth.
Thank you. As the CTO, what technological innovations or trends do you see shaping the future of responsible AI and its role in transforming industries?
Okay. So I firmly believe that federated learning, which is basically the data itself will sit on your own premises, will not leave where the data source is, yet will be able to train the AI model. That is going to be the future. And at Intellect also, we are working very closely towards that with a lot of with a few educational institutes, as well as some of our partners like Intel and NVIDIA. We are working towards creating or rather researching on certain algorithms which can be trained on the devices itself or on the on premises itself, whereas the data itself is distributed across multiple devices or on the edge devices. That is one of the key technological shift that I believe will be happening in the industry.
Thank you for this answer. And my next question is, how do you envision the growth and evolution of intelligent AI as it continues to align with the objectives of responsible technology and workforce development?
Yeah, I think that is very much inculcated in the organization culture itself. So we hire talent not only basis of uh, the skill set, but also they has to be aligned with our vision statement, which is comprising of primarily three things, or marrying three things together: the growth, human centricity or user centricity, and responsibility. So I believe none of them can exist in silos. You can advocate for a lot of responsible behavior, but if it is not aligned to either the organization growth or our clients growth, that will not even be commercially viable. So this is the core value proposition of our organization that we have been providing for last 5 years, and the entire expansion of our workforce is happening around that value proposition, and also the partner ecosystem that we have been part of and we have built so far, and the client partners that we have been working with. So we always advocate for these three things marrying together and take equal trade-off while walking towards it.
Thank you. And my last question would be, can you share any upcoming initiatives or projects from Intelligent AI that our audience can anticipate and look forward to?
For sure. So primarily our customer base includes enterprises like builders, PWCs, and also it has a different set of challenges that we have been solving for last 5 years, and will continue to grow on that. We have been focusing very aggressively on the startup ecosystem. We are starting providing consultation to their product development with the startups at a at an affordable way. We are bringing the entire uh, advisory board that we have uh, to our startup clients and creating the entire technology roadmap for them. So for next 1 year, we are investing heavily on our startup initiatives to work closely with innovative startups and actually build the AI layer on for them.
Thank you, Mr. Batra, for answering all the questions. And thank you all for participating in this knowledge sharing session. Special thanks to all the speakers and gratitude to them who have shared their in-depth knowledge with us. And with this, we come to an end for today's session. And I would like to thank once again from the entire DCPI team for joining us. Thank you all.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much,
so much.
Ananya. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Goodbye.